The command sliced through the crisp morning air like a blade. "Sir, you'll need to leave now." Arthur Hale, a man in a threadbare Marine Corps jacket, stood motionless on the edge of the bustling parade route, his boots worn smooth from decades of use. His right hand clutched a small folded flag, its edges frayed, the colors sun-bleached but fiercely clung to. Across his chest, a rack of faded service ribbons glimmered faintly in the morning light, though no one seemed to notice. Except for the young officer blocking his path. "This section's reserved. We have orders." The officer's tone was flat, mechanical, practiced. His gaze darted past Arthur as if the man were a misplaced fixture, not a human being. People around them shifted uncomfortably, their faces buried in phones or turned away, their silence louder than the marching band, echoing in the distance. The air was thick with the scent of roasted peanuts and hot asphalt, but none of it registered with Arthur. His heartbeat drummed steadily, not with anger, but with something deeper, something colder. This wasn't the first time the world had tried to push him to the margins. Arthur's life had been a parade of battles, not all of them fought with rifles. He had served 3 tours in Vietnam, twice wounded, once presumed dead. His brothers in arms had called him Stonewall, not because he was immovable, but because he never let his pain crack the surface. There was a time when the uniform commanded reverence, when a Marine in dress blues was a walking monument. But Arthur had traded those days for a life in the shadows, a small apartment, a modest pension, and a daily visit to the grave of his best friend, Sergeant Caleb Mason. The two had survived ambushes, jungle fires, and nights where the rain seemed to fall just to break them. Caleb hadn't made it back. Not really. His body returned, but his soul had stayed behind somewhere in the mud and gunpowder. When the end finally came for Caleb, it wasn't with bullets, but silence. The silence of a nation that forgot him. The silence that Arthur vowed he would never let stand. That's why he was here today. To walk in the parade that Caleb never did. But now, they were telling him to leave. The officer cleared his throat, uncomfortable under Arthur's unwavering stare. "Sir, please don't make this harder." Arthur's gaze dropped to the scuffed boots, the weight of years pressing on him. He stepped aside, not because he was defeated, but because he had learned. Real power doesn't bark. It waits. A boy nearby, no older than 10, tugged his mother's sleeve. "Why are they making the soldier go away?" The mother shushed him, embarrassed by the question she didn't have the courage to ask herself. Arthur said nothing. He adjusted the flag in his hand and began to walk away, slow and steady, each step echoing louder than the drums. But someone had been watching. From the reviewing stand at the end of the parade, General Marcus Ellison, a man known for his iron discipline and his disdain for publicity, had seen the exchange. He recognized Arthur instantly. Ellison had been a young lieutenant under Arthur's command in a battle most history books had long buried. Arthur had saved his life once, dragging him through gunfire while bleeding from his own wounds. Ellison descended from the platform without ceremony, his polished shoes now walking where his heart led him. The parade rolled on. Oblivious, Ellison's voice carried with quiet authority. "Sergeant Hale, why are you not leading the parade?" Arthur paused, his back still turned. "Wasn't invited." The general's eyes softened, but his spine straightened. "Then consider this your invitation." Without waiting for Arthur's answer, Ellison turned on his heel and marched to the front of the parade procession, halting it with a single raised hand. His decorated frame cut through the brass and banners like a blade of truth. He removed his own ceremonial sash and held it out to Arthur, a silent command of the highest order. Arthur hesitated, the weight of memory threatening to buckle his knees. His hand trembled as he accepted the sash. As he stepped forward, the crowd, perhaps unsure at first, slowly rose to their feet. Silence washed over the street like a cleansing rain. N01 instructed them to stand. No one needed to. The young officer who had dismissed Arthur shrank into the crowd, his insignia suddenly insignificant. As Arthur led the parade, his posture unshaken, his steps sure. Ellison's voice rose, just loud enough for those nearby to hear. "Some men carry their medals on their chests. Others carry them in their scars." The crowd's silent salute became the loudest honor Arthur had ever known, and though he never uttered a word that day, his silence roared louder than any anthem. "There are heroes who march for recognition, And there are heroes who march because they must. Some battles are fought on fields. Others, in quiet hearts that refuse to forget. If you've ever known someone like Arthur, share their story. Comment where you're watching from and honor the silent warriors among us. And if you believe in stories that remind us to stand, even when others sit, subscribe for more. The silent don't ask for respect, but today we can give it.